So I crafted my Utopia to resemble a sort of fantasy village, more like a cottagecore aesthetic, and I was inspired by places like the Smurf Village, Hogsmeade Village, and the old Puritan lifestyle. So it's basically just a little sleepy place based on traditional values, and so I decided to call this town Clement. So section one deals with the geography and the size of the town. So it's going to be located pretty far north in Canada. There's going to be plenty of mountains and fjords. Sorry. So it's going to be like if Frozen was in Canada, pretty cold but still livable. The town of Clement is going to be completely cut off from the outside world, and it's going to be located as such because it's pretty far north. Um, the ideal population would stay between 200 and 500 people. If it's below 200, we would look at fertility rates and why they are dropping and try to encourage more reproduction. And if it's above 500, we would start enforcing stricter laws. So we would hope to banish some people and reduce the population a little bit and then lay back on the laws. So this is just like a general visualization of where Clement is. North of Canada, pretty cold, snowy, freezing. Yeah. So section two is going to be about the government and politics of Clement. So again, taking more inspiration from fantasy type worlds, Clement is going to have a very weak central government. Elections are going to be held in a democracy, and the leader will be selected based on the criteria of loyalty, mental well-being, and involvement in the community. So the power is going to be put into one person only, but to prevent any sort of dictatorship, the leader would have to rely on the townsfolk to be able to live, and I'll go more into that later. So Clement is going to be fully self-sustaining. There's going to be absolutely zero contact from anyone in the outside world. People inside know that the world exists out there. But they also know it's dangerous, and so they're not going to be contacting anything. Ideally, a bubble would cover the entire town as a sort of invisible shield, and the only way anyone could get through is if the village people grant them access to. And so this is to stop like anything from entering the world. So media, trade, news, ideas, devices, people, food, none of that would be able to reach Clement. It would be its entire little universe. So section three is the largest section because it deals with the money and the jobs in Clement. So first thing is that there is no formal currency or any form of paper money, coins, credit points, none of that. That does not exist. Items are going to be purchased through other items. Goods and services must be purchased through other goods and services. People have to depend upon each other. And that brings me back to my other point when I was talking about why the leader cannot become a dictator, because he would have to rely on other people. I'll talk more about that later when we get to professions. So education is going to be sort of about morals and about manners, basically how to be a nice person. Core classes, of course, are going to be taught because those are important, but physical and art education are also going to be very important because they teach kids how to express themselves, how to be healthy. And when they get to secondary school or middle school, I guess, students are going to start being able to explore what they like, what their interests are, and what they want to do for the rest of their life. And then once they finish schooling, they're going to have completed their sort of craft on what they want to do, and that's going to be the profession for the rest of their life. So everyone is going to have a skill specific to them. It's going to be their skill only. They're going to be the only one in the village who has this certain skill. I mean, others can have them too. It's just to prevent any sort of competition. Every skill is going to be equally important, and the professions are going to follow those skills. So people will take what they're good at, what they like, and exchange it for basically as a form of money. Um, I'll get more into that later too. So this dependency system is basically how this trade will kind of work. So a fisherman would supply a cook with fish, of course, and then the cook might serve like a tool maker. The tool maker would then make different tools like axes or saws for the lumberjack, right? And so the lumberjack would then take that wood that he's collected and then chop it and make a fishing pole and then give it to the fisherman. So it all kind of works like a full circle. So the fourth section, this was more of the fun part that I probably didn't really need, but all about the society and culture just to give it more of a characteristic and unique taste. So housing and architecture, people would build their own houses with the help of other engineers. Materials would come from all sorts of different people, and then the architecture would be in the same style as puritanical Boston style. Um, People would then build houses kind of for each other, like they would help. So in like Amish County, that way of living, everyone would help each other build their own houses, and it would be done pretty quickly. And then for transportation, everything would be within walking distance. There would be no need for any sort of cars, any horses, none of that. I mean, public bikes will be provided if you just might not feel like walking one day, but other than that, it's going to be pretty small. And so this is just a visual representation of what I found online of this image of a cute little house. And religion is another big part of this community. Religion does really good things for people. It teaches them morals, it teaches them how to be a good person, it teaches them a purpose in life. And so it would be culturally appropriate for everyone to worship, to go to church, and it would be looked down upon if they didn't. It would not be illegal. Religious freedom is very much valid in here, but this is what everyone else would be doing. And then I gave some holidays for this little town. Basically the same holidays as anywhere else in the world, but I really wanted to emphasize the importance of love, peace, nature, all of that stuff. Food in Clement would basically be whatever nature provides in northern Canada. So potato cakes, because potatoes will definitely be growing there. We have cattle, pigs, chickens, all these foods. And then vegetation will be growing. It'll be very much available in the mountains. And the last part is traditional wear. So long coverings of cloth and dress, because it's cold outside. So people would really need to be warm. They would wear multiple layers of clothing, pretty much the same we do here, just a little more old-fashioned style. And clothes would be lightly colored fabrics, so nothing heavy, nothing dull, just lightly colored. So that's it. Thank you.